we've got this great studio, TNA Studios down in Nashville, with a great core team that is really, responsible for creating, what comes out of the can and goes on air every Thursday night.
It's really fascinating, just the way that you're able to sort of move from, NXT, WWE, TNA. I mean, all the different organizations, and how you can kind of cross promote with each other, and all boats rise.
Yeah, we've seen that, and look, we hope we can also give a little bit back to WWE and NXT now being on the AMC platform, and having more homes, more eyeballs, bigger ratings every week. It gives them an opportunity to come to AMC and have their talent get exposed to a different audience, and different venues and different fans as well. And I think, like every performer and every athlete, if you get more reps, you become better. And I think we're all seeing that. And so we'll keep it going, because so far, I think it's been able to provide that platform for the athletes, which is pretty cool.
When you came in as president of Anthem Sports, and had to, one of the things that you were, tasked with was to, run TNA Wrestling. How did you kind of go into this organization, which has been around for a while, and really get an opportunity for you to, have the whole organization respect and want to work with you, and kind of look up to you as the leader of the organization?
I mean, it's hard. It's hard because TNA had been around for a long time. There definitely been a bunch of regime changes over the years, like there is in any professional sports, entertainment, or even just a business that's been around for 23 years. There's usually some regime changes. So there have been a few in the past. So I think probably, and probably fairly, there was probably a little bit of skepticism. Oh, this is, another new guy. What does he know? Hasn't been in wrestling his whole career. So I think we just sort of took it slow. We tried to spend time with everyone. You try to get to know everyone. And then you try to assess each of the, nuggets, the sort of gold nuggets that you have, and how you have to either repurpose them or keep them. One example was, we've got this great studio, TNA Studios down in Nashville, with a great core team that is really, responsible for creating, what comes out of the can and goes on air every Thursday night. And I went and visited them, and having run studios and run production myself, like immediately I could see that we were almost even underutilizing them in the value that they have. So we kind of injected a little bit of, fuel and confidence, and a little bit of love and caring there. And they've always been great, but I think now they're blossoming even more, and they've come up with some new shows, and we've done some shows called Fade to Black and Immerse that are all behind the scenes shows that we've been putting on different platforms, and everyone's been, I think everyone's been very pleased to kind of get that inside look. And it's only because they're a great group, and so we injected some energy there. And we tried to do that across it all. We brought in some new people around venues and marketing that have changed the game. I mean, it kind of hurt me, Wayne, but so many of the team and the wrestlers would tell me that they'd be wrestling in front of a couple of hundred people. And I just was like, you can't, that doesn't work. I mean, you all are great athletes, you're great performers. You can't be doing that in front of a couple of hundred people. When we're upset, we're wrestling in front of, 1,500 people, or 1,200, 1,500, 1,700, and we're not happy with that. And so I think we've kind of changed the, sort of what is the baseline of good. And I think everyone's responding to that. And I mean, I know the talent tells me all the time, like, you don't understand, what it was like. I remember being in this place and there was, 150 people. And now we've got, 5,000, for our bigger shows, or 6,000, or, maybe we've got we had 2,000 the other night, or 2,200 or something like that in Nashville. And it was a small theater, but like, it was great energy. And there was, that's the kind of standard that we've started to build together. the team has really responded really well, Wayne. It makes my job easy when each of the departments are hitting their marks, and we keep building it together.
Well, one of the things I think has been really interesting to watch is on social at the end of the each of your events, seeing you address your whole team and give out awards. How did you come up with that idea to do that?
I was kind of just the sports thing that we come from, Wayne. We end up having these production meetings every day, and then I wanted to talk to the talent as well, and so we started something. We have production meetings, and then we have our talent meetings, and it started to become kind of like this game ball kind of situation for me, where we've all seen like the great game ball like coach in the locker room, and Wayne, you did so well, like you broke that tackle, Wayne Kimmel is getting the game ball today, and everyone enjoys it together, and so we started that. And in fact, I have one, because I was lucky enough that the team gave me one when we did the AMC deal, but it's the TNA All-Star Award, and so we've been giving them out at each of the days and each of the events, and it's kind of a fun, competitive piece that like people want to sk to get it. And so we just had our highest ratings on any AMC show this fourth Thursday, and what we did is we looked at the highest rated segment of the 2-hour show, and we gave the All-Star to the 4 wrestlers that were in the ring at 9:45 in the show where the highest peak happened. We did that because like performances, you have to like honor great performance. And so we're trying to do that, whether it's a wrestler in the ring, sometimes it's someone backstage, someone else on the team that's helping out, everyone sort of cheers for them, and they get a small award, and they become a TNA All-Star. So it's been fun. I really enjoy doing it, and I think we've been posting them on social as a little sort of inside look for everybody.
One of the things that I certainly I think is a lot of fun are the hats that you wear. So again, if you're on YouTube, you got to check this out. I mean, you're famous for your hats. Now you have the TNA wrestling hat. It's certainly on.
I got my 76 hat. I got my Anthem hat here. Let's see what we got here. Hold on, Wayne. Don't go away.
I'm not going anywhere.
Don't go anywhere. Where's my 76 hat?
So your trucker hats are certainly something that are.
Yeah. So there's my Anthem hat, and I got my TNA hat. I got an Invicta hat. So we got the Invicta hat in case we're doing Invicta stuff. It's when you don't have hair, Wayne, you can put on a hat and your hair doesn't get messed up. So it's pretty good.